Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pies Presser. We are finally leading into our first game week for the season or for the year, albeit a practice game. I cannot wait to talk, cannot wait to unpack any conversation leading into it. It's time to talk all things black and white. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pies Presser is proudly sponsored by TSNL Neon, Melbourne's trusted signage specialist for commercial LED and neon signage. For more information, link is in the description. TSLsigns.com, family-owned, family-operated service of all of Victoria. Ladies and gents, how are we doing? Chat, what is going on? Are we keen? Is now the time where we can start to build that anticipation and really lean into that this week? I feel like it is. I feel like for me personally, the day of State of Origin felt like an official match week without the Pies playing, which is unusual. So I like that. That's my unusual view of the State of Origin. It made me feel like I was warming up for a big game for the Pies, which was nice. And now that I've got a taste of that, I want that back in the form of black and white. Like that's what I'm yearning for right now. And you know, the first practice match, which isn't an official practice match, you can look at it, you know, glass half full, glass half empty, right? Glass half full, it's a practice match. You get to see an extended squad, which will have VFL players in it. No SSP trials at this point in time. Or you can look at it half glass empty, right? You could say, you know, it's literally, it's nominally, it's a practice match, but is it even that? The broadcasting feels different compared to the official, the AFL listed practice match that you get against North Melbourne and Ballarat. So, I'm in between there, but I'm a sucker for it, so I'll take it all. Good evening, Benny, Baz, Stephanos, Talbot, Joshua, Vic Park, Mr. Vic Park himself. Guys, what are you looking forward to the most in this game against GWS? And this is a side that's going to be struggling with injuries in key areas of their field, particularly their midfield being a Tom Green and a Finn Callahan and Sam Taylor who got injured in the State of Origin. Is there anything you can possibly take out of this? And if there is, make your case and we can go from there. Hey, Justin, how are you, mate? Justin from Reef no match sim, mate. On Friday, he did some conditioning before the game had started. So they really ramped up his conditioning and got him working, but nothing in the group form. Justin, yeah, I was telling my brother about the whole West Coast thing and the story behind it. It was fascinating. I remember you, mate. I remember you. Baz, how you going? Who from the main squad do you think will play, if anyone? So, it's a good question. Jeez, who will play? I mean, can we really have a guess at that? Who won't play? Maybe Pendles, maybe Sidey, maybe something of the sorts. Some people in here, specifically Josh Jacobs, is disappointed that Nick Day. I didn't realize. So I finished watching the State of Origin the other night, thinking, yeah, Nick's a shoe-in, like. I'll probably head home now, watching it at the FAMs as I normally do, watch the footy with my brother and the rest. And I get home and go to bed, wake up. I'm like, oh, yeah, Nick, you know, best on ground, whatever. And I'm like, hold on. Nick was maybe, we assumed that he was best on ground and thought, of course, with good reason that he was best on ground. And then you see that Lockie Ash won the medal. And truthfully, without seeing any of the stats throughout the course of the game, I don't know if Lockie Ash's performance warranted it, but I'm not going to cry over spilt milk being an individual accolade. I think we're all wise enough these days to look past that because you're going to get shafted in many ways at times. So, Nicholas, you want to see big old Charlie West? You know, Charlie West was kind of quiet in the intra club, and that's okay. I feel like Charlie West is a player who just thrives in season. Now, he had a really good preseason last year. Like, he just stood out like a sore thumb. I can't say he's done the exact same thing this preseason, but I feel like it's just we're at a point with Charlie West where he wants to play some official games and have an opportunity to have his mark. Whether he makes opening round is another curiosity. I wonder what you guys think. Do you think Charlie West actually plays, say McStay, Membry, Buller, and West are all healthy and available for opening round? Does West still make the opening round side? Dicko, how are you, mate? I'm good. How are you? It was nice. It was nice to see a preview of how Nick, Zach, and Ben King will play together. It was a good watch. It was a great watch. So, Stewie, we need to move heaven and earth to get Butters. It's a must. So was it? Forget who it was. Somebody from the club was talking about how we've made some availabilities in our total player payments for the end of the year to make a massive, throw a massive fish net out for some big fish in the free agency, whether it's Ben King or Zach Butters. There's going to be some money available, so cha-ching. So, while we'll be going for Zach Butters, I'm sure every other club thinks they're a chance. It was bruise-free footy, you reckon, Stephanos? I tend to disagree. There were times there were times in the second half where I saw Nick and I was like, oh, he's just not running like he would if he knew it was his club's game online. But there were definitely a number of contests where you go, okay, yep, they're having a crack. So look, at times maybe the running wasn't as hard, and maybe a couple players here and there would pull out. But I think for the most part, they really played in a great fashion. It was Craig Kelly. There you go. Thanks, Josh. Josh never lets me down. You never let me down, son. JL, what are the chances that Bull Backman from our VFL squad gets picked up? Sorry, I can't remember the name, but I do remember the training vision. Ben DeBolfo. So, Ben DeBolfo has genuinely been playing and training really well. I think the intra-club, he had a bit of a natural course of a learning curve. So, Benny Zero and I were then. It seemed like, okay, this is someone who's had a really good preseason, but because he's so raw and fresh to the top level, having only just joined the VFL system last year, he, let me just clarify, that was his first season in the VFL, but I felt like, playing on Buller and Membry in a game that mattered more than match sim, I thought he really struggled in some contests, and that's okay. I try to explain it like it was, so he played for the Bull Ants, the Box Hill Hawks, and now Collingwood in the VFL. I would say the way he was beaten it's important to his development to be beaten in that way because you learn from it. It hurts you. And yeah, he was well beaten. Like, truthfully, he was well beaten in that intra-club against the likes of Membry and Buller. And he would take some great learnings from it. And I reckon it will only make him better, in my opinion. So... Look, it's important that we don't fall in love with 2 minutes of footage that I've provided on this VFL player. And he's a one to watch in the VFL side and could be an aspiring AFL level player through the mid-season draft. But we need to still temper the expectation in these intra-club games. I'm sure a lot of people there was a number of fans at the game on Friday, and I'm sure some of them would have been interested to see Benny. And it wasn't horrible, but in the contests where you want someone who's in a key position to win, he didn't win many of them. And that will, like I said, you got to lose some to win some. So that'll be 1 step backward and 2 steps forward for the man. West will play up the ground. Checkers roll, really pushing up the ground, you reckon? Big Baz booked tickets yesterday to see the Pies up here in Brisbane later in the year. Taking my girl to her first Pies game. That's huge, mate. That is huge. I'm glad she'll be donning the black and white. That's another positive with a positive experience, man. That's huge. Hey, Pommy, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yes, she said yes. fortunately. Pardon me. Thank you for honest reply. Just seemed to have great. He does have great body shape. It's funny. He actually, speaking of Jacob Wiedering, he actually, his animations kind of emulate that of Jacob Wiedering. Not suggesting that he plays like Jacob Wiedering. I'm just saying he moves like Jacob Wiedering. He doesn't play to the level of Jacob Wiedering. You know. Hey Janet, how are you? I am doing very well. Thank you. We're very happy. We're very happy. I basically put her in a corner of a room and gave her no option but to say yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let her out of the timeout. So, and I said she has to change her allegiance from North Melbourne to Collingwood, right? I don't know where she is. She might be sleeping. I don't know. Maybe she's plotting something against me. Hey, you keep an eye out. You too, brother. Thanks, Joshy. Appreciate you. So we want to see a bit of Charlie West on Friday. Is anyone going to the game? Darcy Moore and Howe out, Reef and Cochrane in. Well, Reef's not going to play on Friday. That's a certainty. I think the biggest watch for me, by far and away, this Friday will be Joel Cochrane. It's probably not even close. It's Joel Cochrane, and then I want to see Will Hayes. I liked his intra-club performance on Friday. That's two. Because you're not really going to get much out of seeing a Jordan De Goey. Besides seeing Jordan De Goey get through the game and running well, okay, that's a tick. But yeah, it's really the likes of Cochrane, Will Hayes, Charlie West. It will be of interest, certainly. Jacob Ryan, and I continue to keep an eye on TJ. Sorry, geez, yeah, North forever. There she is. North forever, she reckons. Interesting. How did this happen, mate? I mean, the thing is, sometimes I don't even know she's a North fan because there's just not a lot of chatter about that side at the moment, respectfully. They're not really around the mark, so it's almost as if it's almost as if she's a Collingwood supporter at the moment. But she'll go to a couple games a year. She'll go to Marvel. The North are down by 60 points before 3/4 time, and she's already home. I go, oh, that was quick. Did you go to Southern Cross and back? And then, yeah, she said no. Tom, her brother, got angry because they suck, and they left. True? She's laughing, and she said true. Joel Cochrane, 1,000% is a must trial next 2 games. We'll tell a story in Howe's recovery. Yeah. Speaking of Howe, Noah Howes will be an interesting watch as well. Not training in the back line, and while he may have trialled in the VFL last year very late as a defender, it's probably not going to be that. I'm wondering if we do have an emergency button. Like, we're not training McStay as a defender. We're not training Howes as a defender. So if these experiments, quote unquote, don't pan out the way we hope, what's the alternative beyond no Darcy Moore, no Jeremy Howe, no Reef? Joel's not going to be able to he's not going to be able to stand up every week, is he? Even at his best in his, formative years at the Pies. Do you think, I think they'll all play. Against GWS, they will all play. Chris? Do you think Anderson, Prindable, and Swallow? Yeah, absolutely. Stewie, I know Latrobe very well, my friend. I played there for soccer for 2 years in Bundoora. It was quite a trek. It was 2 trams from where I used to live. No, trained in a tram. Nightmare. It's Bundoora, right? Latrobe, Bundoora. Memos, how are we doing? How are we doing? Jacob Ryan a chance if Reef not ready. See, the thing is, Josh, like Ryan is a chance, and he played well in the intra-club. Benny was a big fan of Jacob Ryan on Friday, but he's not a key-size defender. Reef, albeit not a key-size defender himself, but he's a little bit bigger than a Jacob Ryan. You're talking height and size-wise, Darcy Moore, Billy Frampton, and then you're talking Reef, and then you're talking TJ, then JR, who doesn't necessarily have the greatest aerial capacity relative to those players just mentioned. So I think TJ is definitely more error-prone right now, but just his upside to be able to defend in the air is why I keep holding on so dearly, just trusting that he will put it together. Good voice though. He's really confident in the way he carries himself. That's for sure. MD, how are you? Great to see you here too. Love that. Cochrane will be given every chance while Jeremy Howe recovers. I agree. I'm with that, Juzzy. I'm with that. I can't comment about your missus being an awesome supporter. My ex was a car. Mate, that's even worse. What got into your head there? Bit of lust, Stewie, huh? Bit of lust. Had the mind a little bit dizzy, did it? Memo's doing good, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it. At least you barracks to North, you can go to games and get some alone time with her. No crowds. That's a good one, Voidoid. That is a good one. No crowds, it's a bit of me time, huh? Who would you pick for our backline if there is no Howe and Darcy? Gee whiz. Let's have a look. Why don't we do it? Let's have a look. Canva. No Howe, no Darcy. Backline. Emphasis on X. Yep. Good point. It's a good point, that. Can I go... If I share screen here... Bear with. Safari. Oh, here we go. If we go... Canva. No wonder she's your ex. No shit. No shit, MD. Bear with, I'm just getting open Canva and we can have a look at like a little predicted 23. What do you reckon? I think there was a practice match today, wasn't it? It was Hawthorn Geelong. Number of players missing. I'm wondering actually if Nick Dacos will play and whether Darcy Cameron will play after the State of Origin. Yeah, Melbourne City. I played trained at the Melbourne City grounds, my friend. Apparently they're not there anymore. I believe they are. I think they might be at Casey Fields is what I'm hearing these days. Hey, Canva, any danger? Here we go. Predicted 23. Let's do. Is this old? I need to refresh my. I do need to refresh my Canva because there are some names here. I do have. I could do this. So without Jeremy Howe, who I've already got out here, without Reef, who's also not available right now, Jack Ryan, he reckons. Like starting 23 for a practice game. Obviously, there'll be an extended interchange. But it'll probably look something like this. Maybe. Sorry. You're probably going to get that. And you might even get a bit of Big Roo at some point in the practice match, that's for sure. I think that's how you pretty much do the... That's how you do that with the back line and see if that works. See if there's anything else here. It's really slim, isn't it? And then you get like some VFL listed. I don't know. It's a nervy one. It's a watch this space. Like, you're probably going to get that with Ryan. Yeah. You'll get that with Houston at times. You know, you'll get that. To be fair, you're probably going to get this. And then that there. And then you can do a bit of that. They're at Casey, okay. I think Hawks won by about 20 from what I saw on socials, okay. Yes, I did try and convert it. First boyfriend was Brett Radden, so it was an uphill battle. Silly man. He's a feel for a Houston IQ, even Brazzy types. Yeah, like not exactly like for like, but if there's positions that Ryan's going to take, it's or occupy in certain opportunities, it's a Houston position, it's an IQ position, maybe a Brazzy position. If you're down, if you're really down. First thing I asked my missus was what team she followed. As soon as I heard Collingwood, I was like, "You in like Finn?" Adolfo Quinones is your absolute lookalike, mate. Please Google Adolfo Quinones. All right, because I don't trust Adolfo. I don't trust exactly what you're saying. I will look at it offline first. I feel like somebody has said this before. Don't know how you think I look like this guy though, guys. How do I look like this guy? I don't understand. Does anybody else see that? Anyways, you guys can see. Anyways, Juzzy, you're a funny man. First thing I asked Mrs. was if she was a bloke. Second question was which footy team. I love that. Woody, thanks, brother. I'll see you soon. Is more a chance asking Nash? I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I mean, he's going to have to get up for main training on Wednesday to be available for this game. I think, look, you wouldn't rule him out, but what you do want to see is Darcy Moore playing against North. And if he gets through the North game, then he's a chance. But right now, he's just hardly doing most of the drills. How long till Reef will be available? I want to say, like, if all things go really well, I'd say, and this is a guess, so your guess is as good as mine, I'd say around 3, but they could push it out to, say, round 8, round 9, somewhere around that near halfway mark. Like, look how conservative we've been with Harvey Harrison, who's a similar age. So that's when I want to look at how we've treated young players with ACLs before. I just look at that and make my, based on what I've seen at training and based on Harvey Harrison, then that's the logical outcome conclusion I come to. We have to go smaller, so I was thinking something like Ryan as he's some height. Yeah, he's like 6. He's 6'2", isn't he, Jacob Ryan? Quite skinny, but still has some height nevertheless. Big Roo isn't ready. He's still developing down back. I mean, look, he might not be ready, but I'm saying for the game against GWS, you're going to see him there, I would believe, for sure. Have I got Big Steen in here? Like, by the way, we just have to find a way for Steen to play opening round. I reckon it could look like this. I really reckon it could look like this. Would that be my final opening round right now? Who's here? Well, I mean, Pendles. Is there anyone? Like, I'd have to keep Rowan Steele and Lipinski in. Jeez, he's like, Steen's pretty close. He's genuinely pretty close. Oh. Is Houston injured? He played in the intra club, man. Oh yes, okay. Maybe they're definitely being cautious, Janet, for sure. So most likely round 3, Justin, you reckon? Houston did have hip surgery, but he's ready. Pendles for Houston? Nah, Houston will play. Houston will play, Matthew. I'm just thinking, like, I want to see this guy in our side, but is there anyone here? Like, there's no one here where it's like, I mean, you could try this. Sorry, you could try. And McStay, let's say McStay's done a bit, played in a bit of the intra club. Even then, I still haven't got Pendles. I don't know, something like this. I mean, at what point do you start prioritizing an Allen, an Anderson, a Prindable, a DiMattia over a Pendles or a Jack Crisp? It's tough. It's still tough. Like, I think it's going to be a difficult decision. There are going to be some difficult decisions for the coaches to make. I think just watching Steen's preseason, his intra club, like, I just think there's got to be a way we can find out about him. Nah, Marcus. So hold on. I've got, like, this is firstly. This is also, this is for the practice match. This was for the practice match, what we were working on just then. And then we quickly changed it to opening round, so bear with me. Hold on, sorry. Excuse me. All right, let me make sense of this. So now we're working towards opening round, right now. So bear with me for a second. Cochrane. Take old mate out. Take old mate out. Parks out. Like, I'm having some issues here. I am. I don't want to touch that magnet. You guys will kill me. You guys will kill me if I did something with this magnet, wouldn't you? I mean, Lipinski's he's had a good preseason, and he played okay last year. Is anyone here that's not going to play? Like, everyone here just plays. Is your missus jealous of the love you have for Dan Houston? Come on, it's not quite like that. MD, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, isn't it? McStay doesn't play at 0 unless we see a full game next 2 weeks. Yeah, okay. Okay, so, I mean, let's just on the assumption that West has had some continuity in the preseason and McStay hasn't. That's an easy reason to play West. Yeah, I don't think it gets any closer than that. I'm sorry, but who is Pez? Perryman. I'm going to change that because people don't know. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's a pretty stock standard, isn't it, Marcus, what you got there? So you don't have Steen in the starting 23, which is pretty much the only difference, it seems. Don't think I'm missing anything else. You got Parker in there. In lieu of who? You got Crisp in there. It's such a compact message. They will not play 3 keys again. So you haven't got West in there either. Okay. Well, I mean, Membry at ground level is respectable. Westy will work hard. If you've got Steen in, you could make the argument that you wouldn't want to have Buller, West, and Membry in because that's 4 genuine tools alongside DC. I can see that. But the question is, how much do you play your fifth player on the bench anyways? Who is Perryman? Can we bring Pez in from here? Love that. That's good. I thought McCreary was injured and may not play opening round. I think he's close to playing Chris. He played a quarter and a half of the intra club. He's doing a lot a lot of bits and pieces in training. So it just depends whether they're willing to ramp it up to a larger capacity over the next 2 weeks, and that will tell. That will tell a lot. But so, like I said, there's Steen. I really want to fit in. I actually really want to somehow keep Lipinski in here. I'd love to find out about Will Hayes at some point. Maybe I need to do like a friend or emergencies like I did last year. Put that there. Something like this, huh? EMG. Emergencies. And they can be like our, just for the sake of fringe conversation, right? Sidey, Steele. Yeah, it's quite confusing. Sidey is still side bottom, and then there's Steele, who's Rowan Steele. So we're gonna change that as well, because there are people who come in and aren't quite familiar to all the surnames or the nicknames. So I'm gonna ask you guys. Can you fit Lipinski into this best 23 for opening round? Would be my... I'm not sure. Like, I'd want to. I really do. I'd love to have him in. I'm just trying to figure out how. Trying to figure out how right now. Injured. Maybe like injured. Who's injured right now? Jeremy Howe, Darcy Moore, Reef. That's it, right? So right now we actually only have 4 unavailable, which is not too bad. Obviously, there's a couple question marks around a couple names, but it's starting to clear out. Darcy Moore's down here. I don't think he's going to be available for opening round. Angry was a bit messy fright. Yeah, that's what Benny and I saw that. He started off really strongly, Angry Anderson, but he was messy towards the second half of that game. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be seeing. You could, but if I had to make a bet, I don't think you're seeing his name on the magnets just yet. Lipinski for Steele. But the thing is, Rowan Steele has been so good this preseason. And for me, like, if you have Josh, Nick, Bo, Geordie, Pendle, side bottom, Jack Crisp, I don't think, look, he's probably going to play, but I still don't think this guy is a shoo-in. I don't know. I don't want to, nah. I think he plays. Like, you can't put in Lipinski for Long. I think Long plays, guys. So really, it would be out of, you know, a Lipinski and a Rowan Steele. Lipper will start before Rowan, you reckon, Rick? You're looking at that, aren't you? So basically, on this conversation, guys, Ed Allen is not starting. Based on this conversation, Di Mattia is not starting opening round. Based on this conversation, Will Parker is not starting opening round. Like, these are some names you'd all think would be getting pretty close. Crisp is on a watch. He's on watch. Crisp is definitely on watch this season, of course. Anyone who says otherwise is, you know. But he's not out of the... He's definitely by no means out of the list yet. He ain't out yet. My duotone. Black. There we go. Crisp can pitch down back. Yeah, maybe he plays off the flank in the back line. Maybe that's what he does, Crisp. So I'll put McStay there just to highlight that he's injured. He may not play, type of thing. That's 4 emergencies. Does H get a game? Absolutely. Harvey Harrison has to get a game. Yeah, look, you can argue, like, maybe not the start of the season, JL, but I think at some point we're going to get close to asking the question, well, do you start playing Lipinski and Rowan Steele over a side bottom? That could be a conversation. Yeah. I mean, given our, like, Jack Crisp can mark a ball aerially, so I'm thinking defensive winger. I'm thinking playing off the halfback flank to provide some aerial relief when we are quite short. I think he looked good in the back line in 2023 for the most part, no? Does Houston get a game? Yeah. Yeah. Guys, it's too early to give up on something you've invested so much on. That's what I'll say. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. It's not the sunk cost fallacy just yet. By the way, 70% of you say you can fit Lipinski. Okay, so... Alright, so maybe I'll make it easier then. If you guys think Lipinski will play opening round, then I assume it's out of Lipinski and Steele, right? So I'll put that in. That's what you're saying, right? I'm assuming that's the only way we can go about this. I would nearly have Crisp in for Q. Big call. No. Not the same type of player, and I think you need Isaac Quaynor to be playing well for this side. You need him in a team. Yeah, Houston's got runs on the board. So it's just a matter of seeing that come back to fruition, right? West out. Like, guys, like the way we're making this list right now, it's like we're saying, no, we're still like, we don't, like, are we bleeding the youth or what are we doing? We bleeding some youth or not? Because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, you know what I mean? That's a very safe side. That's a very safe side that we're doing here. Are you guys more happier with that? I reckon it's looking more like that. Does Sidey still have it in him? Yeah. I reckon he's still got another season in him. You can't have West, Steen, Buller member in the same team, so Lipper plays one, and that's fair. And West will take the bullet there, right? At what point, I know, like, I think what would be interesting, guys, is perspective, right? Some of you, throughout the course of the year, will be saying Membry has to play over West, and some of you will be saying West will play over Membry, and I think it will be completely dependent on how our results are going. If we're winning, we're playing Membry. If we lose one game, everyone's screaming we're going to play the youth and put West in. Yep, I'm with you. I'm not saying, mate, look, I'm not saying Ed Allen's playing. I haven't considered him once for this starting 23. That's what I'm saying. But I'm thinking West has nearly warranted an opportunity. And I think Oscar Steen is right there. So at the very least, I'd like to see those two players get a shot. I think they're very close. I'm not sure why I won't... Oh, it's working now? Yeah. Look, I know traditionally, besides last year, we've only played with Brody Myercheck and Dan McStay, if that. And then really we build our small forwards who can mark overhead as well around that to apply the pressure, to mark aerially and all these sort of things. So I see this. I see this setup where we play a bit shorter. We're very well acquainted with that. And then you roll a DC through there or a Steen or a McStay who's second ruck. What happens to Demetia? What do you mean? Yeah, I think we'll have yeah, that's a fair call. We'll have a clear idea of it all as after the first couple of rounds. Yep. Marcus Panuzio. Yeah. And I'm not, again, not counting out these guys. They're not quite there, are they? They're just not quite there yet. Will they ever be? Don't know. Because, yeah, look at our back line, how decimated it is. How more McGuinness. And we're still not talking about the likes of Demeter, Parker. We're not talking about Jath either. And, you know, I mean, no one's really talking about Smith with all due respect just yet. Is Sullivan closer to the starting 23 than we think, guys? I think a lot of you rate Sullivan. Would you guys have him right up here? Sully? Like, who's next in line? Out of here, I know it's like, oh, well, what position are you looking for? I'm just saying, pound for pound, who's first in line here? And if there's anyone else you want to talk about, that should be in line. I mean, some of you might say Printable, some of you might say Anderson, but I'm going to leave the first year players out for the sake of this. For the sake of having way too many players to factor in. Maybe you guys have Ryan. Ryan's a bit closer than most would say. Yasul Mani. Ella, isn't there going to be 30 players? Yeah, it's going to be an extended squad. We'll probably see VFL players in there. That team is too much copy and paste. That's what I was thinking, Kev. I think it's a bit too copy and paste. I think we might be a bit more explorative after the first couple of rounds. Anyways, that's what I'm going to say. Parker, Allen, West, top 3. So you got Sullivan outside of the top 3. Parker also good form, says Jack. Parker with ease at the top of the list, you reckon? I don't know. Pound for pound, I'd say Sullivan's close. What's the outlook on Josh this year? I think Josh is just mid and back. Haven't seen much wing, haven't seen much forward for Josh. I reckon it'll be like a 50-50 split in my opinion. Okay. Manny's G'd up in the chat already. Have a listen. You know the season's close when Manny's in the chat talking in cap locks. 4 Pies debut in this team. Not bad. So Steen is a debut. Cochran's a debut. Buller is a debut. That's 3. That's 3 debutants, no? What's the thoughts on Nick and Josh in the middle? Love the Dacoses since the 80s, but I'm wondering whether all their silky skills, they might be outmuscled by the likes of Luke Jackson. Look, that is quite a stark contrast, like measuring Josh and Nick against a Luke Jackson. And yes, you can make the case that you can only have one in at one time. I would say, for the most part, you're not going to see both of them in at the same time. But you will when we want to be a bit more experimental through the middle when things aren't working. But for the most part, you might get like a Josh, Long, DeGoey. Or you might get a Josh, Nick, Pendles. You know, this sort of stuff. That's the type of rotation you guys are going to see. You know, very rarely, I think you won't see this as much. You just won't see that as much. Just because they're so attackingly. And you definitely, like, if things are going bad and we need some offensive Hail Marys, there you go. That's just throw caution to the wind. Hey, thank you, Yanni. Appreciate it. Thank you. I won't be going on Friday, Jack. I'm going to be watching at home, my friend. Be going to training Wednesday, I believe. Surely Steen debuts this year. No, there's no way he doesn't debut, Mark. Absolutely. I would say he may not debut opening round, but he's close. If not opening round, he'll have an opportunity for sure. So that's and you know, like when we unearthed Josh Dacos, Lockie Schultz played a bit of midfield in that Gold Coast game. He played a bit of midfield in the intra-club game, Lockie Schultz. So this is a magnet that you might see in the midfield every now and again. We look best when it's Geordie, Nick Pendles in the centre. I mean, that was that centre bounce, wasn't it? 2023. You know? So realistically, you know, you can do that. Whatever. And chuck Macca in there. Yeah. I'd like to see us move past McStay playing in the ruck. Let him find continuity in the forward line. I just feel like he just hasn't settled. Either he hasn't settled into the club in some ways due to injury and whatnot, or he's just not up to it enough. Nelson, how you going? Yeah, lads, late to the party. Personally, I would have Nick, JDG, and Pendles as 2023 grand final. Exactly what I said, mate. Great. That's the break glass in case of emergency. I think Steam plays round one with Marshall, and that's what we failed to factor in. I mean, they got Marshall, TDK, but I think you know, Marshall probably play. I mean, probably a fair split between TDK and Rowan Marshall on the forward line. They might react to how we go. If we have no recognised second ruckman, they might just say, Ro, you just stay at home in the forward line. But if we bring Steen in for opening round, then they'll bring Ro into the ruck as well. Steen, hopefully the Cox upgrade. Hello, Manny. Nato. Boy said, hey, you're still in Greece. Yeah, and sorry, obviously McCreary is going to, like, for a quarter and a half, which is all he played, a third and a half, which is all he played for Intra-Club, he was exclusively in the midfield. And he had a bunch of disposals, which is you just don't really see. Bo's more an impact player. I think we're trying to find a way to evolve McCreary into this player who can just be a little bit more than an impact player, as long as his body can hold up. The speed is there, the power is there, the kicking is there, the ability to kick goals is there. It's just, can his body hold up? His cleanliness within contest is there now. Sully was injured, but now he played an intra-club. So he's working towards having his name available. So now you're saying 50% Rowan Steele Lipinski. Yeah, 3 or 4 clearances and a goal to Bo on Friday, and at least 10 touches, at least, which is a lot in this time he played. Yeah. Anyhow, ladies and gents, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I dare say we're going to do a couple more live streams this week, so looking forward to that, because we've been saying that for the last few weeks, but there's just been no reason or not enough reason to do live streams, so now we have more of an excuse to do so. So I appreciate you all, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, go Pies.